You are now listening to Renaissance Soul.
Welcome to the Renaissance Soul Podcast. I'm your host, Kelly K. Fresh Frazier. And for this episode, I'm joined by Detroit hip-hop artist Fatt Father to discuss his latest album, King Father, that was released back in May 2020. Fatt Father is known as a member of the hip-hop collective, the Fat Killahz, and is a staple amongst the Detroit hip-hop scene for many years now. Fatt Father is not just a clever name, as you will hear in this episode and on this album, but he takes fatherhood seriously, and you always feel that in his words. Fatt Father also brings that same energy to the Detroit hip-hop scene with upcoming artists. You know, he's both a leader and a mentor. We talk about events going on in his life surrounding the making of King Father, what King Father actually means, fatherhood, and the themes of the album as we go track by track through King Father. King Father is a very personal album for Fatt Father, and we talk about the life lessons that, shaped this album. So, after a word from our sponsor, we'll get into this interview with Fatt Father and talk about King Father. Welcome back to the Renaissance Soul Podcast, and I'm here with Detroit hip-hop artist Fatt Father, and we're going to discuss his latest album, King Father, that he released back in May 2020. How you doing, Fatt Father?
Yeah, all good, man. All good. How about yourself?
Man, I'm good. So, to kind of kick, start things off, talking about King Father. Before you got into making this album, kind of describe where you were at in life. Just everything in general.
Man, it's crazy. I'm in a place, man, where I'm grateful for where I am. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't really have any complaints. Like, and when I say where I am, I mean in my state of mind. You know what I'm saying? Just being an adult and appreciating all of the blessings and just watching my children grow up and flourish and blossom into who they're going to be. You know what I'm saying? And I think that has a bigger effect on me because I think about where I came from and what I come from. And looking at what I come from to where they're going, like that's just big for me because it could have went, you know, it could have went many different ways.
Yeah.
Like for real, I could have been like my old dude. I could have been a Rolling Stone. I could have not been there like that. I could have gotten those same results. You know what I'm saying? But to even be at this point where I'm thankful that I didn't take that route, but at the same time, I understand my father's route now. I get it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not bitter. Like I understand what he stemmed from and what he come from. So that's just where I'm at right now, man. And I think that like um that's why King Father is so powerful because I understand the ups and downs of fatherhood. And I know what I could have been as a father, but I'm thankful for what I am.
What was it about your father's place that you really connect with now as being a father?
Um you saying
Yeah.
my father.
Yeah.
Um I think I'm more so instead of being mad at the things he didn't do and when he wasn't there, I'm more so sad for him. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't have the guidance. You know what I'm saying? And my mother had me, she was like 17, my father was like 18. You know what I'm saying? And I think about when I was 18. There's no way in hell I was ready to to embrace like being there and going to soccer games and doing this and doing that. At 18, I was like, where's the open mic? You know what I'm saying? Like, where's the now? Um, it did help me grow up faster
Yeah.
the way that I was brought up. You know what I'm saying? Because by 24, I was married. You know what I'm saying? By 26, I was married with my first child, and I'm talking about a stable home. Like there wasn't no like I'm still out here running wild, doing whatever the hell I want to do. Like I'm talking about stability. Like I'll go on field trips with my kids. I volunteer at the school. I do stability was everything. So it's like I think my father's story fueled my story. You know what I'm saying? And I often think like, what if he was the cat who had it who had it all or had it figured out, but I was the child that rebelled against that and went another route. Like there's always other ways that our stories could go.
Yeah.
So I think like I have to be grateful and thankful that my story just happened to go in this direction. And I get to do something that I love, and now my son is growing up and he loved what I love, and we're able to do this together. And at the same time, my daughter is just like her mother. You know what I'm saying? She's in those books. Like I'm watching her flourish and grow. Like so that sad story that began with my father turned into something beautiful. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm learning to and I'm still learning. I'm not gonna say I'm all the way there, but that's where I learned to connect with it instead of being mad. You know what I'm saying?
There's a lot of those sad stories where, you know, children are not growing up without a father. And like you said, it can go one way or it can go the other.
Yeah.
What's sort of your advice to people out there that could be in that situation now that you have become a father yourself in regards to how to deal with that being in that position?
Um Well, I'm just gonna say like we have to be more understanding, I guess, and we have to communicate for real. Like even as adults, there's a lot of things that we look at from our childhood that is still hindering us today.
Yeah.
Um, Now, on the flip side, the elders have to also be willing to listen when they do have that child that becomes an adult and comes to you and say, hey, this wasn't right, but I want to move forward. I want to put that to the side, throw that away, and I want us to start brand new. But I want you to understand where these feelings stem from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like so I think it's all about communicating. Don't let nothing build up inside of you. Put it out there. Hey, if y'all disagree or you can't come to uh common ground, then we're adults at this point. You can be over there, I can be over here. But the point is to not like have any feelings or grudges held inside of you to the point where it's making you stroke out or have a heart attack. You know what I'm saying? But it's all about understanding before being understood. A lot of times people speak and communicate, but the whole time that they're talking, all they want to do is be heard. And while they're focusing on being heard, they're not focusing on hearing. Sometimes we have to listen, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
and that goes back to you having a messed up childhood or a parent not being there. Sometimes we got to look a little deeper than what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like even especially men, like man, because we come up in especially in the black community, it's not a whole lot of I love you and dads like hugging their sons and really showing them that, hey, it's okay for a man to be vulnerable sometimes, or to be like, you know what I'm saying, just express himself. Like we don't even take the time to really understand sometimes that, hey, my son don't know that because I didn't really teach him that. We always go with the mind state of, boy, you should know. No, how should you know? You know what I'm saying? Like I remember, I remember one time, man. Like me and my wife was talking, and we were talking about how, like boys knowing how to properly uh, take care of themselves hygiene wise and take a shower and how to wash. And I'm like, damn, like how many men really tell their son, like, this is how you supposed to wash? Like, this is what. No, we just, when they old enough to get in the shower, we just hand them the soap and the rag, like, hey, go in there and do your thing. I expect you to be clean. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So you gotta look at all of that, man. Like even sitting down and talking to your son about uh respecting women, and talking to your daughter about the respect she should demand from men. Like, you got to do all that. That's why I love having a son and a daughter, man, because every lesson is like two lessons in one.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? When I'm talking to my son about how he needs to respect women, at the same time, my daughter is getting a lesson in what she should, what she deserves, and what she should demand. So I love it.
Now, getting into the album, when you first started working on King Father, what was sort of your mindset going into it? What was sort of like the first things that you did?
Man, it's like it came together. It was I've been wanting to do this for years. I've been wanting to do King Father for years. But even before I did Veterans Day, even before I did Fatherhood, I wanted to do King Father. But I didn't feel like I was there yet. I felt like I was jumping the gun. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really have 100% of an understanding of what it took. So in the last couple years since I dropped Veterans Day, um, at one point my wife was ill and she was in the hospital on a respirator for months, and I had to, make sure she was all right. I was at the hospital every day, but at the same time, I was with my children every day, and I had to, I had to totally take me out of the picture, and I had to put my family before. Although I put my family before everything anyway, but I'm talking about at this point, I didn't care if I ate, I didn't care if I slept, I didn't care about none of that. You know what I'm saying? And just being able to keep my children focused and keep my wife motivated to get better, and still I look up and I got songs written and recorded, and I'm still running my businesses. I'm still doing what I need to do. And I look back on that now like, damn, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm here. What else says King Father than I'm still here?
You realize how resilient you really are.
Yeah. Yeah, and I look like, man, can't nothing stop me at that point. Like, I felt like God built me for this. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not shook. Like, I had, of course, we all have moments where, when you're going through something like that, where you sit back and you think. But for me, it was like, no, this is what I have to do. I have to rise up. I have to take care of my people. You know what I'm saying? And that's what a king is. Like, a king is not all about the shine and the show off. Like a lot of people think that when they call themselves a king or a boss, they think it's all about the wins. You know what I'm saying? But it's really all about how to rise above the L's.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what a true king is. A true king gonna put his people before himself. He understands that it's not about him, the man, but it's about what the crown represents. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I was like, man, it's time to drop King Father. This is just where I'm at, man.
Cool. All right, let's get into the actual tracks of the album and talk about each of them. The first one is the intro. It's called "Defined" and it has your son on it, and I think it's a good start of the album. Kind of lays the groundwork of what King Father is, but then it also wraps up about who you are. What the father and Fat Father is. Kind of talk about that intro.
Well, it was important for me to like the first definitions are kind of like he look in the dictionary. You know what I'm saying? Father, king. But then when I hit him with the let's dig a little deeper and tell me what being a dad is, a daddy to you, that was all him. I wanted all him. I wanted to know, what have I shown you? What I wanted straight from the heart, straight from him. And what he said, it made me proud, man, because that means he's really watching and he's paying attention. You know what I'm saying? So it was just short and simple like that. I just wanted to see where he was at. I wanted him to define what I've shown him.
How does that make you feel to see your son be like that?
Man, I don't know. I don't even know if it's if words can explain it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if there words can't explain it, man. It's absolutely amazing, man. Even when we just sitting in the studio and I'm watching him, like he's recording, man, himself. He's making beats himself. Like, and the other day we was sitting down in the basement, man. He was playing me beats. I felt like I was sitting in the studio with like Black Milk or Hit Boy or something. Like he's playing beats, like, and I'm listening like, damn, I would rock that. Like, man, like I got a hook that'll fit that. And I'm like, he's 11.
That's
Like,
awesome.
so
That's awesome.
yeah.
Okay, the next track is King Talk. What's that about? Who produced it? Talk about that.
Well, Blizzard produced King Talk. Shout out to Blizzard, man. Another super dope, humble uh Detroit producer, who I'm not even gonna say Detroit producer. That dude, man, that sound is, he has an international sound. Flat out. Just every producer involved in this project does. But Blizzard did the beat, and really with King Talk, I really wanted to further elaborate on what the intro was. Basically expressing how serious I take my crown, and just let people know where I'm at. I'm basically embracing the crown on King Talk, but I'm also letting people know that, hey, the crown doesn't just hover over fatherhood. I'm also pretty great with these words. You know what I'm saying? I also do this because if you know me, if you know Fat Father, man, I'm not really the braggadocious, cat like that. But like on King Father, I'm talking that shit. Like I'm really that in the midst of trying to educate and acknowledge the greatness in my life. I'm also trying to let people know, like, man, when I put the pen to the pad, I'm still, it's no joke. You know what I'm saying? Like, I might be a funny cat, but No jokes when it comes to the wordplay.
All right, the next track is "We Go Hard" and it has your son on it, DJ Oreo, and it's produced by Trox. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, man. Trox has sent me some tracks, and me and my son was sitting in the studio listening to the tracks, and he was like, I look over at him, man, and he's like, got the mean face on, and he's like, man, that's dope. Like, but he's talking to me like like I'm playing beats for him though. Like he like, man, that's dope, man. Man, who did that? Like, like I'm like, man, that is pretty dope, man. So we came up with the hook. We sat down, we started writing to it, man. And this is when I knew he had it because up to this point he would rhyme. You know what I'm saying? I knew he can rhyme words. I know he can put words together, but when he took the delivery, when he followed the delivery on this beat, because this beat wasn't the um let's just rap hard or rap. You
Yeah,
had to put a little you had to put a little swag on this beat. You know what I'm saying? Or what he say? He had to put a little cool drip on this beat. Like you just couldn't rap. And when I heard the delivery, I was like, shit. Cause I've been in the studio with grown cats who can't find the beat. Like they be rapping and they're not on beat at all. And I'm listening like, damn, he's in there. He's in there. So when I listen to We Go Hard, I always go back to that moment. Whenever that second verse come in, like he's in there. Like for real.
right. When was the first time your son kind of gave you that little nudge that he wanted to start making music?
Man, first of all, he's been rhyming since he could talk. When he first started, he couldn't formulate words though. It was just all hand movement. Like it was just he had this big ass toy green mic that he used to carry around, and he would sit there and perform in the living room, and he had all of the hip hop hand movements, but there was no words. It was only sound. So he'd be like, "A cup is a cup, a sip is a cup," but the hand movements were on point. So the hand movements let me know that he had the idea of the rhythm. You know what I'm
Yeah, he
saying?
knew
So then
the rhythm of it. Yeah.
yeah, so then I told him like at one point, like my wife just was getting frustrated, like, okay, it's time for you to start saying words. So I was like, we need to figure out some words. So we started putting words together, man. Then he started performing when he got in school, he started performing in the talent shows every year. Then he started actually recording songs, and the teachers was hearing the songs and like asking me to email them copies of the songs, and they would play his song. Like it's just always been there. It always been there, man.
No.
That's why I kind of feel like, man, my journey may have not been for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, it just may have not. And but it was important for me to be on this journey because my journey is very essential to my children's journey.
Yeah.
Because my daughter plays the um man, god damn it. Uh my son plays saxophone and my daughter plays clarinet. And they're both great. Like my daughter is great with this clarinet, man. She sits up and puts on songs she like and create like plays the clarinet to them. And she's also a straight A student. Honor roll, you know what I'm saying? Like since she been in school. So I just really think my journey is for them, man. I learned a lot of things that they could benefit from. They could really benefit from my experience, you know.
Yeah, let's talk
So
more about that because you're somebody who's you're friends with, you've worked with a who's who of like, Detroit hip hop artists. You've toured the world with Fat Killahz going on tour. And what's some things that you've, learned through your journey that you've been able to help your kids with, you can pass on to your kids when it comes to what they're doing artistically or just in school, with learning and just developing, their character.
Really, man, I learned some valuable things from Proof. Um, First of all, I learned that never settle. You know what I'm saying? Always be always be number one to you. And Proof was a platinum artist, and you can still catch him at a bar hand to hand with CDs. You know what I'm saying? Like he taught me that, so I instilled that in my children. You know what I'm saying? I never give them the worker mentality. I always put them in the boss mentality. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Trick Trick. I've been knowing Trick Trick since I was 14, 15 years old. And I remember seeing Proof and Trick rap at the State Theater and rock the house. It was packed. And that's really when I was like, wow, I told Trick, like, that's what I want to do. And Trick told me, he said, man, do it. And when you put out your first project, I'm going to be the first one to buy it from you. And when we dropped the Teamster album, which was the first actual project that I was on that came out, Trick in front of Legends downtown was the first one to buy a cassette from me. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
Um, Proof was asking me to come to the studio one time, and he just had me put a verse on a random song. I don't think the song ever saw the light of day, but after I recorded the song, he wrote me a check for $200.
Oh.
Um, it wasn't about the $200. I get it. He was trying to show me that what you created out of your mind, what you created from scratch, just made you $200. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? This $200 not about to change your life,
But it's a good feeling to,
but it's a good feeling
yeah.
to get. You know what I'm saying? To earn something from your talents. That's another thing I displayed to my children on both ends. Because one time when my son really started recording, he asked me for a verse on a song. And I said, it's going to cost you. He said, how much? I said, how much you got? He said, I got $100. I was like, that's cool. So I held that same, like, I want this $100. You know what I'm saying? So we went to the studio. I went in the booth. I'm in the booth recording. He's out there rocking, but he's counting his money out. You know what I'm saying? As I'm laying the verse, I'm looking at him. So after I lay the verse, I come out. I say, you satisfied? You cool with that? He said, yeah. I said, now listen to it. If you need me to do something else, you know what I'm saying, then we could do that. He was like, no, no, it's good. And he handed me my money. You know what I'm saying? I put it in my pocket. We worked on the mix a little bit. On the way home, I handed it back to him. I just wanted him to understand that, hey, my time and my talent is worth something. But at the same time, your time and your talent is worth something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My children, um, I'm into real estate, so a lot of times my children would go with me to look at houses. They would go with me when I meet up with my inspector. You know what I'm saying? They would go with me when I'm talking to realtors and asking questions about the property. They've they've always seen me do what I want to do. They've never seen me do what somebody let me do. You know what I'm saying? Like if you ask my children what they daddy do for a living, they'll tell you whatever he wants to do. If he wants to be a comedian, he'll be a comedian. If he wants to be an investor, he'll be an investor. If he wants to drop an album, he'll drop an album. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say I think my journey was for them, man.
Nice.
Like that, growing up in my house has been like, I think it's bigger than any college education you could ever acquire. Like you get so many classes, flat out.
All right, the next joint is "Look at Me Now," which features and was produced by our friend Marv One. So talk about that.
Man, we cut this joint like Marv did that beat. It's been like a few years actually, and I was sitting on this joint, and I felt like this was the right time for it. Again, it's like, man, I've been through some ups and downs in life. You know what I'm saying? Mentally, um, I've been down, I've been up, I've been feeling like maybe this ain't the way. Am I doing everything right? Did I make right decisions? And again, now I'm just embracing all of that. And I'm thankful because it got me here. And look at me now. Basically, I'm just, going down memory lane, man. Key things in life always stick with you. You know what I'm saying? And there's things in that song that I really like. When I think about it, it's like I'm there again. Like Kalicia, the mixed girl, like who stayed down the street. I had like a super crush on her, man. But when I think back, like I wasn't even on her radar. Like, like man, I used to lie and tell my cousins like that's my girl. You know what I'm saying? I'm like 9, 10 years old. Like man, that's my girl. You know what I'm saying? And like when she would come, like Calicia could have took anything from me. Like if I had an ice cream sandwich and Calicia said I want that ice cream sandwich, I would have said hey, and I would have thought like, hey man, she really digging me. But no, she just really wanted a damn ice cream sandwich. You know what I'm saying? Then I just think about how like for real, man, we had like two pair of pants and a few shirts, and we had to switch them up. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember that. So it's basically like, look where I am now though. Like all of those what I thought were downs at the moments were actually ups because they taught me how to survive. You know what I'm saying? I don't need validation from the Calicias of the world. And that's not even saying, I'm not saying that in a bad way because she was never a bad person. She never said nothing bad to me. And I hope wherever she is, she's doing great in life. But I don't need validation from any human. You know what I'm saying? I get my validation from God and and my children. You know what I'm saying? So that song just basically takes you on a journey through some key points in my life that I felt like made me better now. And I was just saying that if I could, I would love for the people who were key characters in those moments to see me now. You know what I'm saying?
Nice, nice. All right, let's go to the next joint. It's called "Growth." It's featuring Melanie Rutherford, and it was produced by Jeremy Ford.
Yeah, man, it's crazy because my younger brother, I have a younger brother named Jerry Ford. So I met this producer. His name Jeremy Ford, and our birthday is on the same day.
Oh, nice.
And he's from Brooklyn. So it was crazy, man. It was like, damn, are we related somehow? But he sent me over some tracks, man. He was like, man, I really dig your music, and I would love if we can do some work. So, um, I get a lot of those. Like people just want to send me beats, and then I listen to the beats, and I'm like, man, did they listen to any of my music before they sent me these beats? But then he sent me to his SoundCloud, and I'm like, sometimes I don't click on stuff, but I something was telling me. It's almost like God was like, you need to do this. You know what I'm saying? So I click on. I'm like, yo, I'm just instantly vibing, man. And when I heard that track, when I heard that intro, the horns, I'm like, yo, that's it. That's it right there. man. So I recorded the verses, and I was like, man, this is like the beat was talking to me. You know what I'm saying? So it again, it was just like where I am now. I am so thank this whole album. I'm just really being grateful. I'm just really thankful, man, for this growth because I've been in some situations that I used to hustle. I was out there. You know what I'm saying? I don't. So when I talk about the hustle and being in the streets, I'm never glorifying it. I've been there. You know what I'm saying? And I'm thankful that I'm not there, or I don't have to put myself in those situations now. I'm thankful for that. You know what I'm saying? Because I understand there's cats out there that got to do what they got to do. So I ain't knocking nobody hustle. You know what I'm saying? It's some people who don't get to see the growth after that. They actually become victims during that, whether it's death or prison. But I'm still here, and there's going to be another generation of me. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that doesn't say growth, I don't see what does. You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, I had to call Melanie. I called Melanie, and I was like, we've been knowing each other for 20 years, and we have yet to record a song
Oh, yeah.
together. Like, so I told her, I'm like, yo, I need your voice on this record. I didn't hear anybody else's voice on this record when we decided, because initially I was going to do some cuts on it. I was going to have DJ Lowe's do some cuts. And then I was like, it's just saying so much that I don't think cuts would do it justice. I know Los would do his thing, but I just feel like more needs to be said. And she came right in and laced it, man, and put it together.
Nice. The next track is "When It Go Down," featuring Sugar Ray and A minus, produced by Marv One.
Yeah, so this one right here was just me showing off my penmanship. I just really wanted to rap. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, a king has to show that he can take care of his people and make his people priority. A king also has to show his people that, hey, if it came down to a battle, I got y'all. Like flat out. Like a king has to also have the skills of a knight. You know what I'm saying? Because if the knight's standing there protecting you and something happened, or they can't protect you, or you have to be able to pitch in and swing a sword. So that was me just letting my people know, like, hey, don't worry, I can swing a sword. And then it was real dope because Sugar Ray, this was like the first time Sugar Ray is on a song. You know what I'm saying? And I've always felt like Sugar Ray has the perfect voice. Like whether she's on the radio or whether she just talked, her voice was like God made this voice for people to hear it. Like this is a part of the world's treasure. Like we need to put this voice on a record, and she's a hip hop head. Like she will take you down through there on the hip hop history. You know what I'm saying? So we got Sugar Ray on there, and A minus is one of my favorite new hip hop cats. Like on the mic and off the mic. He's just him and Blizzard, Blizzard, Nolan. Man, these are some of the humblest, dopest cats that I know. So we had to get him in there. So just when it go down, it's just that raw hip hop. It's just us just swinging swords, man.
The next track on there is "Bundle Up," featuring Scud. I mean, produced by Scud One.
Yeah, Scud One man is for those who don't know, um, producer out of Chi Town, man. Scud is so dope with it. we actually got a lot of joints together. That we got some stuff that ain't even dropped yet. But Scud sent me that beat uh, a while back, man, and I just felt it feels so cold. You know what I'm saying? It feels so cold, and the direction I wanted to go with it was, we need to bundle up, like not necessarily in your real coat and gloves, but your mental coat and gloves. You need to always be bundled up. You need to be prepared. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got a line in there that people always ask me about. Why I say the roses will lick you, or the roses will lick you, and people like, man, what the hell that mean? And I'm just like, because when you look at, it's basically saying like, hey, you might see a fine woman out here, or you might see a pretty situation, but then you might get set up. You know what I'm saying? Like that, yeah, that rose looks very nice, but you need to make sure it's a rose. You know what I'm saying? Or it might just lick you flat out. So basically, bundle up is just giving more fatherly advice, man. It's just saying, don't go out there in the world without having your coat zipped. You know what I'm saying? Without having your gloves on. And I guess that's really the gist of it right there.
All right, the next track is "Burn Something," produced by Becoming Phil.
Oh yeah, man, it's one of my favorites. First of all, I think it's so dope that Becoming Phil, this dude is from like, man, I'm not even about to attempt to say the name, but he's over on the other side of like South Africa. That's where he's from. Um, and I just think it's so dope how you can hear so much Detroit Jay Dilla influence in his music. But at the same time, he's not mimicking. He doesn't sound like he's, mimicking Adela, but he has incorporated his own sound. And it's just so dope to me how music like unites people from all over the world. Um, and I met him through a mutual, I guess, friend or acquaintance. My man Courts Cordero from New York. He was up in Detroit and he was kicking it in my studio, man. He's playing these beats for me. I'm like, man, who did those? And he's like, man, this cat named Becoming Phil. So I hollered at him, got some more beats. We did a track. He's a super Slum Village fan. So he sent me a beat and I put T3 on it. And when I sent it back to him, he was like so blown away. We trying to figure out what we gonna do with the joint. But he was so blown away to have T3 on one of his beats, man. And again, that's just another one of them joints where I'm just, I'm dabbling and throwing some adult advice in there, but at the same time, just swinging that sword still. You know what I'm saying? But it still keep you. It doesn't stray away from King Father.
The next track is another Becoming Phil production. Okay with that.
Yeah, it's just like I really, when I made this song, man, I made it for the kids. I'm not gonna lie. I made this not just for my kids. I made this for everybody kids. Um, because you have a lot of music out here that's telling kids, if you don't have this and you don't have that, then basically you're not shit, or you whack because you don't have that. So I wanted to make this song just for them to know that it's okay to just be you. You know what I'm saying? That it's okay. And it's a lot of people who not okay with that, but they don't have to be because they're not you. You know what I'm saying? If I want to eat 45 chicken wings, yeah, that might be bad in a sense. But if I'm okay with it, if I'm okay with being fat, then hey, you know what I'm saying? Like I respect your concern. Um, but I want to eat these 45 chicken wings. This is gonna make me happy. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe that ain't the best analogy, but I love chicken wings. Um, but yeah, okay with that is basically just saying, man, I'm okay with being me. Um, because even with that, the the things can change. Like when I go back to the Fat Killer days, and when I really stepped out there, like man, there was never no shame in being fat. You know what I'm saying? I never had no shame in it. Now, as I grew older, I understand that I need to take different precautions and do things different health wise. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm doing all of this when I'm okay with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now that my children are growing, I want to be around for my children. I want to be around for my family. You know what I'm saying? So I have that understanding of why I'm doing it, and I'm okay with that. So it's like you might not be in the same place throughout your life. You're going to evolve, you're going to be in different places. But what's important is that you're okay with all of those places, no matter how fast they change or evolve, or what understanding you come to. You have to be okay with it to fully be functional. And that's all I'm saying is I'm okay with that. You don't like my grind, I'm okay with that. You don't like my shine, I'm okay with that. I don't wear Jordans, I'm okay with that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. The next track is Old Future, features Isaac Castor, and is produced by Foulmouth.
Oh yeah, man. Shout out to Foulmouth. Me and him got a new project coming too, Soccer Dad. Yeah, so basically, man, I wanted to get Isaac on this album because I think Isaac is another one of those young, dope, humble cats, man, who um he's really about to start getting people attention even more. He's just super dope on the mic. Um and when I heard this song, it sounded like it had to have like a glimpse of the past, which is me in a sense. You know what I'm saying? The title says it all, Old Future. Like it's basically where I feel like we come from to where we're going. And Isaac is the future. He's, you know what I'm saying, 23, 24, somewhere like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm 40 years old. So there's almost a 20-year difference there. So the the sky is the limit. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, there is no limit for him. He can. I want to see nothing but greatness for him. So I just think it was dope that we both got on this record, man, and we both talked about our hardships. But I'm talking about it from a perspective of, man, I've seen this and I made it through this and now I'm here. And he's like, man, this is the shit I'm going through or recently going through. And what's dope to me is I can't wait to hear his verses about when he's on the other side of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because he got 20 years to do of making those verses, and I plan on being there tuned in. So Old Future is basically about the now and the tomorrow.
The next track is Dreamin', featuring Finale and Quelle Chris, and produced by Scud One.
Yeah, man. Another Scud One beat that was a banger to me, and I'm trying to think, man. I think me and Quelle laid our verses first, maybe. But I just know that when I got Quelle on there, I was like, yo, I gotta get Finale on here. Me and Finale known each other for years, and his whole flow and his whole mentality, we're so different that we're so much alike. You know what I'm saying? Because finale is just like so serious. Like, and I respect that. He's about his grind. He's about his son. He's he's all about that, man. At the same time, Quelle is about his art. Quelle never lets anybody tell him how he should draw his picture.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He is 100% the father of his creativity. And this track just basically, I felt like nobody else could have painted the picture that I wanted to paint besides Finale and Quelle. And it's just talking about how, man, when you look at like all of the greats, the Martin Luther Kings and the Malcolm X, man, and the Huey P. Newtons, man, these cats, like, they help shape history, and they help like shape where our society was going. You know what I'm saying? Especially for the black community. You know what I'm saying? But really everybody. Um, and I just wanted to express to people how we really need to wake up to certain things and certain situations. Like, even from the standpoint of racism, man. Like, again, it goes back to racism screwed our country up. It screwed people up, period. I ain't even gonna say our country. Racism screwed the world up, flat out. Because even when you look at, and I'm gonna step outside of the box, you know what I'm saying? Even when you look at little white children with racist parents, at the end of the day, all any good child want to do is make their parent proud. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
if you come up in a household where the people you look up to or is responsible for guiding you through life are telling you that another group of people are trash or beneath them, and then you grow up with this dumbass ideology, or you know what I'm saying? You thinking like, oh, this is what mama said, this is what granddaddy said, this is what daddy said. That's messed up, man. It's so many children being screwed up by adults. You know what I'm saying? That's why I've also said in songs like, man, hoes were once children in need of attention. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you really think about it, man, you look at these girls, some of these women now, and the way they carry themselves, and the low self esteem, and the lack of respect for self, man, and that goes to somebody not waking them up. You know what I'm saying? Like you're
Yeah.
up to a certain point, like, as a child, you're asleep. It's a given. You're definitely asleep. Like, it's children, like a 4-year old right now don't know what a virus is, or don't know how to fear worldly things. They're still asleep. They supposed to be asleep. They need the rest. They need the rest because adulthood requires that you had enough rest as a child. You know what I'm saying? But it's on us as adults to wake them up and say, hey, get up. It's time to go. You need this, you need that. You need to bundle up. You know what I'm saying? You need to be okay with being you. You need to, you know what I'm saying? You need to know how to unleash your aggression and when to unleash your aggression. And up to this point in the album, I've given you all of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now the album closes out with "Keep Livin'" featuring Aaron Taylor, produced by Foulmouth.
Yeah, man. So another foul mouth banger, and with my man AT. Um, I called him up. First I laid the verses, and again I heard his voice. I heard this was just like the Melanie joint. I heard Aaron's voice on the song, man, and I'm just like, he can sum it up. But I just wanted to end the album on a note that was letting people know that this is the beginning of King Father. You know what I'm saying? Like, This is not a farewell. This is the beginning. And you need to keep living. With everything that I just gave you in this record, I'm not giving it to you to tear you down. I'm giving it to you to make you think. I'm giving it to you to motivate you. I'm giving it to you so that you can keep living. You know what I'm saying? Don't ever just uh, uh, put yourself in second place. Always go into it with the first place state of mind. You know what I'm saying? Um, and above and beyond everything, man, as much as I made or make music for the masses, my children can always go back and listen and hear me talk to them years after I'm gone. You know what I'm saying? They can hit that play button and be like, man, well, we know how he felt about that. We know how he felt about that. We know how he felt about that. And that's right there. That's priceless, man. You know what I'm saying? Every every true king has a treasure to leave behind. So that's it.
When it comes to the sequencing of the album, how did you take all of your songs? What was sort of like your idea about how you wanted to order all these songs to tell this King Father story?
Man, I don't know. It is actually whenever I do a project, man, whenever I'm arranging the songs, I just let God talk to me. I just let the music and God put the songs in order. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't really think about that when I'm recording. And it just seemed like everything falls into place when it's supposed to be. That's how I always know when the project is complete. You know what I'm saying? And then that's what it is.
Let's talk about the album artwork. What did you want this album to visually show?
I wanted it to, and shout out to my man, Cancer, man, from Eyes Bleed Defiance. He did the artwork, super dope. I just wanted it to be powerful. I wanted it to really show that royal king look. You know what I'm saying? And I could have easily did an album with the whole castle look and me standing there. But I felt like me standing there would make it too mortal. I wanted it to be more than mortal. So I wanted me to still be there, but not in physical form. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's where you get the whole smoke and the, because it's kind of like I'm here. I'm here to stay. Even in the physical and outside of the physical, this is bigger than Fat Father the man. You know what I'm saying? This is King Father. You know what I'm saying?
When it's all said and done, after you got done with the album, it's all sequenced, that final product. What was your own reaction about listening to it?
Man, I don't. I was I was impressed. like when I really went back and just listened again, because the music and God put the order together and everything. I'm always impressed because I sometimes hear things in my rhymes that I didn't pay attention to. Where I'm like, damn, that's deep on so many levels. That could go so many different ways. Like, I meant for it to go this way, but I can see how it can go that way. That's how I'm just glad that I can provide people with that, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad that I can provide people with truth. Like, people can listen to me and they don't have to worry about if it's organic or not. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not here to impress nobody. I'm not here for validation. I'm here to, of course I want you to love the music. So I guess in a way I want to impress you with the music. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to, I'm not here to make records about all the things I got and all the, you know what I'm saying? I'm here to make people think, be grateful, understand life, you know what I'm saying? Understand what life can be, and be thankful for the good in it, man. And just understand that even if your journey get rocky or rough at times, you can make it through. You know what I'm saying? When my brother was murdered back in '03, you couldn't tell me it was a brighter day. You know what I'm saying? When Proof was murdered, like you couldn't tell me that it was going to get better. You know what I'm saying? But then I reflect back on what these people were about, what my brother, what Proof was about. And I remember when Dilla passed, I remember standing inside of Northern Lights and Proof telling me that he was planning uh to do an event to raise money for Dilla's kids, and he wanted to do this and he wanted to do that. So then that makes me think, like, in the time of loss, he didn't bury his head in the sand. He thought about what he could do for his people. So that's another lesson there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just I just make music so that people can have those lessons, man, and always go back and press play.
All right, Fat. It's been great talking with you about this album, King Father. Is there, any final thoughts that you want to share about what this album means to you?
Um, no, I think we pretty much said it all, man. I got some more stuff coming though. Now, one thing about me, like I say, man, all my music is organic, so my moods change sometimes. So the next album might straight just be all G shit. Like, you just never know, but it's still gonna be organic though. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the dope part because it's still all me. And there's many sides to Fat Father. But nah, man, I just hope the people, really respect what I'm trying to hand out.
And where can people go online to get more information about what you're doing and about the album?
Fatworld.com, FATT world.com.
Awesome. It's been great talking with you. I'm glad we were able to do this.
All right, man. It's always a pleasure, man. Me and you go back. Like, for real, man.
Thank you for listening to the Renaissance Soul podcast, hosted and produced by myself, Kelly K. Fresh Frazier, empowered by Anchor at anchor.fm/Renaissance Soul. Renaissance Soul theme music provided by Steve O. You can find more of his productions at iamsteveo.bandcamp.com, and that's EYEAMSTEVEO.bandcamp.com. Renaissance Soul is available on all streaming platforms. Please rate and review on Apple Podcasts and Stitcher. If you want to support Renaissance Soul, please consider pledging via Patreon at patreon.com/freshtheword. Follow Renaissance Soul on social media, on Instagram at RenSoul Podcast and on Twitter at RenSoulPod. And join the Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/freshtheword. And for more information on Renaissance Soul, visit freshthepodcast.com. Thank you for listening and your support. Goodbye and good night.
Renaissance Soul.